Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead in a Box. My name is Leah and I'm super grateful to have you. In today's video, I'm going to be starting my winter plant starts and discussing a few things that you can actually plant and grow throughout the winter that you may not have known about, like lettuces, kale, spinach. Today I'm going to be starting my Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and broccoli and doing a little project with what I'm starting them in. Some I'm going to start in just regular composted rabbit manure, and then the other I'm going to be starting in Happy Frog soil. So I figure we'll talk about the winter garden. I know right now it probably doesn't seem like you want to talk about the winter garden. However, if there's one thing I've learned in the gardening world is that you always have to plan a season ahead, kinda. I struggle with that the most about gardening, is planning ahead. But in order for your garden to be successful and for your harvest to reflect the work that you put in it, you really do need to plan your garden. So today I'm going to be starting these winter seed starts and just letting you know a few things you can go get on the internet in order to have in time to be able to put in some soil to actually grow food this winter. So come with me and let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to be starting some broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbages. I'm color coding them because I'm excited about my new pots and I can do that. And these I'm going to be using this Happy Frog soil, but I also have another tray I'm going to be starting of all of the same Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, things like that. But I'm going to just be using just straight rabbit manure. I've collected up some rabbit manure that's been broken down and it's basically just like dirt. And I'm going to see if I can start seedlings in it. Rabbit manure has the NPK ratio for it is like a 2:1.5. Strictly experiment. I have no idea if it's going to work. It may not work at all, but I'm going to give it a try because, as you know, I have a lot of rabbit manure here. So, like I said, I'm going to put the Happy Frog in these, and then I'm going to put the rabbit manure in just this flat that I have right here. Okay, so I have soil in all of these, and now I'm going to go in and I'm going to plant them. I've already written down what colors I'm planting for what seeds. So the last time I started seeds, it was such a debacle because I did not plan ahead. And I thought, oh, I'll remember what I planted, and I didn't remember what I planted. So this time I went ahead and on a piece of paper and wrote down broccoli goes in purple, cauliflower goes in pink, Brussels sprouts go in yellow, and cabbage go in green. So I already have all of those written down. But while I get these planted, I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that you can actually plant in the winter time. These seeds are super tiny. Let me see if I can show you. Broccoli seeds, a lot of these seeds are so tiny. But anyway, a few things that you might not know that you could plant in the wintertime is lettuces. There's several different varieties of lettuce that do much better in the winter than they do in the summer. In fact, all of the lettuces that I planted this summer just to see if they would grow didn't. They ended up going to flower a lot sooner than what I wanted them to. So most of your lettuces are grow better in the cold. Whenever I go to town and I buy lettuce from the store, I always buy a spring mix, which is basically different varieties of lettuce thrown in with spinach. Not your iceberg, not that type, but just different. It's different varieties of it. Some of it's cosmic lettuce. Some of it is arugula. It's a spring mix. In that mix is spinach. And spinach is something that gets overlooked a lot. And it's really good for you, great for you. And it loves cold weather. In fact, I tried starting some this summer and it bolted on me. Before it didn't even get very tall before it just bolted on me, which means it got too hot and it went to flower, and I was not harvesting any spinach. Last winter when I planted spinach, I planted them very close together, so I didn't get as much as I had planned. This year, I'm planting my spinach earlier than I did last year, and I definitely have a different plan for how I'm planting a lot of my lettuces, a lot of my greens, things like that. One thing I am starting that I've never grown before, and if you've ever grown this before, please comment in the comments below, but it's called Radicchio. I purchased this from Baker Creek Seeds. I was going to start it last year, but I honestly just forgot that I had it. Found it. It's frost hardy. I'm imagining it's like little mini purple cabbages. I mean, because that's what it looks like. If you have ever tried this, please comment down below and let me know what it's like. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these planted. I'm planting the radicchios here in these teal. Their seeds aren't quite like the broccoli seeds, but they're still very tiny. All of the tiny seeds you just want to plant like 1/4 of an inch deep, if even that. They say twice the size of the seed is how deep you should plant them. It's kind of trial and error for me. And if they sprout, great. Some of them take a little longer to sprout. My pumpkins did that. I planted some of my pumpkin seeds deeper than what I should have, and it took them a couple extra days to come up. Another thing is kale in the wintertime. Kale it thrives in the winter. Again, same thing with my spinach. Last year I planted my kale all bunched together, so if you have watched any of my YouTube videos from last winter, my red Russian kale, my dwarf kale, all of that, I planted it really bunched together. And whenever you bunch them together, they don't have the opportunity to actually grow. They're more like a microgreen. They're more of a salad green than they are a long-standing kale. And so this year, the kale that I'm growing I'm hoping that it gets at least hip length, and it's a long-standing kale, and I just grow really tall kale. I love kale. We juice kale a lot whenever we juice. Some people don't like it, but I like it. The thing about a lot of the plants that you can grow in winter is it's food that you wouldn't think that you would normally eat in the winter. It's a lot of greens. It's a lot of lettuces, brassicas, which is your broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, things like that. Those are all brassicas, and those are all cooler weather crops. They do better in cooler weather. The one thing I'm super excited about starting this year is Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I know some people do not like them. Some people have never tried them, but they really do kind of taste like a mini cabbage. We love cabbage, but I have seen people growing these while there's snow on the ground, going out and harvesting their Brussels sprouts. So I am really, really excited to hopefully get a harvest of Brussels sprouts off of these. You do not have to have the space that I have in order to start some of these. I start as many as I do because I do have quite a bit of space, and I do give plants away. But you can get just a simple Tupperware, stick it on your back porch, and like one of these that you see here that these succulents are in, and start some lettuces in that. I was going to show you a couple different varieties of actual lettuces that I know grow great in the wintertime. Arugula is one of them. It's more of a spicy lettuce, but it will like take over. It's insane. I planted just a couple of seeds of this last year, and it just about took over my mustard greens and everything. But the arugula is a good one. Another one is this Simpson lettuce. This is an heirloom lettuce. It grows great in the wintertime, especially you just go up and you can just cut the big leaves off of it, and the leaves get, I mean, however big you want them. Cut them just at the base and they grow back. That is the one thing, one of the many things I really do enjoy about growing lettuce. This salad bowl lettuce is also a great lettuce to grow in the wintertime. It almost looks like a cosmic lettuce I grew last year, and it was more of a purple, well, it was more of a purple lettuce. I don't have any purple lettuce in this variety, so I actually may have to get on Amazon and find me a purple lettuce. mainly because I like the way that it looks and I like the way that it tastes. And it makes your salad bowl just look cool. Red Russian Kale also, some people have to have an acquired taste for kale, but Red Russian Kale is also another fun thing to grow and throw off into your salad bowl. Okay, I'm going to get these Brussels sprouts in here and get them planted. All of these I will be starting under grow lights in the house. You don't have to. If you have something outside that can work as some type of a greenhouse of some sort, you could start your seeds outside. You just need to be careful starting them outside in the summertime because of the temperatures. Because most of these seeds are cooler crops. They like cooler weather to actually germinate in. So you might not have luck with starting broccoli outside, but you don't know if you don't try. For me personally, I have the grow lights, so I'm just going to stick them under the grow lights in the house for a couple weeks before I transplant them out into the garden. Most of these will transplant out into the garden about the first week, second week of September here in my zone, Oklahoma, zone 7B. And I'm in eastern Oklahoma. I have roughly 110 days, I believe, until my first estimated frost. So that is why it might seem like I'm starting these a little later. I am starting them later than what I had originally wanted to, because that's what I do. I start them later. But I learned a really hard lesson at the beginning of the year because I started a bunch of plants way too early and found myself in quite the debacle with them. So these cabbage, I'm really excited about growing these huge cabbage. This is a 90-day cabbage, and I plan on, they say this cabbage is really great for sauerkraut and things like that. My husband Tree and I love cabbage. I got this particular brand variety because it says that you can store it. You can store cabbage under the correct conditions for quite a while, almost about kind of like squashes. Maybe not 4 months, but you can store your cabbage in the refrigerator, just under the correct in the correct environment for quite a while. So I am growing a lot of cabbage because we love cabbage. Just sauteed cabbage, boiled cabbage, I mean, you name it. Cabbage with bacon and onions. Cabbage is just really, really good. So I am growing quite a bit of them. If you've been thinking about wanting to grow some food, grow some food. It's all trial and error. I say this in a lot of my videos, but you don't know if you don't try. There's things that I still have been kind of skittish about trying to grow because I'm just like, I don't know if I can grow those, you know. But I remind myself the same exact thing I say to you guys, I say to me, like, if you're not going to know if you don't try. Like, I have this particular sunflower breed that I'm going to plant. I don't really know if it's too late to plant it because it needs roughly 120 days and I have 110 days, but I'm not going to know if I don't plant it. So I am going to plant it's a red and white sunflower. So pretty. I did go to, if you are still considering maybe wanting to plant a fall garden, I did go to Atwood's the other day, and they actually do have some plant starts there. So if you're wanting to get that last minute tomato in the ground or the pepper, they had jalapenos, peppers, tomatoes, any plants like that, check out your local Atwood's Tractor Supply, or if you have someone that's locally starting seeds, a greenhouse, something like that. Check with them because some places I was really surprised actually have some plant starts for a last minute fall planting. Alright, so my last one in these that I have, well, I have cauliflower and kale left. It looks like I don't have very many cauliflower seeds, so I'm actually going to start them just in this one row. I think I may have tried starting some last year in the summer, and it didn't turn out in my favor. So we get these cauliflower, and then, like I said, I am going to be starting kale. I would normally just direct plant kale, but I've been doing a little research on it, and I read that sometimes it grows better whenever you start it from a seed and transplant it. Now, what works for some people might not work for me, and vice versa. What works for me might not work for you, but I am going to try it. I've saved 16 of these to attempt to start kale in. Like I said, we juice kale, and I've seen where you can dehydrate it and make like your own powdered greens. You can make kale chips. Like, kale is something that we will eat. So if all 16 of these plants survive, we will eat the kale. So I have all of my Fox Farm trays complete. Now I'm going to grab the ones that I have the rabbit manure in and start some seeds in that. The thing I'm hopeful for is that this doesn't smell like rabbit poo in the house, because I am starting these in the house. So I do hope that it doesn't smell like rabbit. I'm starting these because a bag of Fox Farm is $25 after tax, or right at it, yeah, after tax. And so if I can save some money by not having to buy an expensive potting soil, seed starting mix, then I'll do that. I normally start seeds in just potting mix, and I've always had good luck with it, but if I could start some in rabbit manure, why wouldn't I? I'm not really counting how many seeds I am putting in these, because I want at least one to survive and germinate. And if you've ever bought seeds, most of the time, if you purchase seeds from a reputable buyer and you're not going to Walmart, if you shop around at Walmart and places like Lowe's, sometimes you don't get as many seeds as what you hope for. This first row is cabbage, and I have to say that so I can go back and make a note of it. Sometimes you don't get the amount of seeds in the package that you're really hoping for. I will say, every time I have purchased seeds from a reputable buyer, that I get a lot of seeds. What? Oh, seller. Did I say buyer twice? Reputable seller. Okay. Whenever I buy seeds from a reputable seller, I do not have issues with germination. I do not have issues with the amount of seeds that come in the package. Like, there's a ton of seeds in this one package. And I think it was like $3. Okay, second row is done, and that was broccoli. I'm going to do some Brussels sprouts. Cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to do kale in this last one. Alright, so I got all of these winter seeds started. Again, a few things you can plant in the winter: lettuces, spinach, kales, all of these, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, brassicas, most brassicas. Also some peas. So I grew peas last year in the winter. The hard frost did eventually take them out, but I did grow them. So even if you just want to grow one thing throughout the winter, go grow a salad bowl of lettuce on your back porch. It's really not that hard. You do have to have some type of cover for them, a frost cover. And I'm going to do a video over some do-it-yourself frost covers that you can make at home. I've seen people get clear plastic totes and put over soil bags and just sow their lettuce seeds in that, and then just grow lettuce in that all winter. The internet is at your fingertips when it comes to just learning different ways to grow food. If it's been on your heart to grow some food, go grow some food. Worst case scenario is like these plants here. The worst case scenario is that they don't germinate, and I don't have any extra Brussels sprouts, broccolis, things like that. That is the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, they germinate, they become seedlings, I put them in the ground, and they grow, and I'm able to harvest some food off of them. Like I said earlier, you do not know unless you try, and you don't know if you do not try. Thank you so much for coming and hang out with me today while I finally got my winter seed started and talked a little bit about the winter garden. I want to try to normalize gardening in the winter because it is foreign to people. A lot of people have no idea you can grow food in the winter, and you can. And for me, it's easy. Sometimes it's easier to grow in the winter than it is in the summer because you have no heat, less pests, things like that. And so really, I just want to normalize it. There's a lot of things you can grow in the winter. Go grow something this winter. Thank you all so much for coming, hang out with me. I'm sending you good vibes. Send some good vibes to somebody that you know. And I will see you all later in the week.